So we're working on the Little Etude, Kleine Studie of Schumann from the album for the young, number 14. And we're going through the basic steps of how to practice from the ground up. Because it's like, this is the first that you're learning it and the first exposure, and we're organizing the learning today. So the first thing I want you to do, since this is a series of broken chords, I want you to find the melodic thread. The melodic thread resides actually in the second half of each measure. So as an example, the top of the chord of each half measure would be this. B, C, E, G, D sharp, Wes, C. We're not talking about harmony now, we're talking about melody. C, B, right fingers. A, E, A sharp, and it comes back. So that's what we're basically doing right now.
Okay.
And we're using our wrist, you know, a supple wrist, and the whole arm is following through into each note, right? Thinking to the end of each note as then giving us a clue to the beginning of the next and the next. Okay, so you have B and C, skip E and Wes and more and onwards and A and C and all fives now, B and A and perfect fourth. I won't play that so pokey. Good. And then 5A and then A sharp, resolve to 4 again. Okay, we're going to practice that again.
Okay.
Practice it again. And I would go out of my way to a little bit project it more, because you're going to have to get into the keys. So you can raise everything up, but you're still shaping the same way, even though you're playing deeper toned, right. Okay? So G and lean more down. Resolve it. And then comes 5. Then comes a 2. And then twice. Then comes ta. Then comes ta. Then comes ta. Then comes ta. And then do. That's very good. So that's very good. Okay, then the other thing we were doing was now playing the actual chord that's underneath the lead melody with the outer finger, and we're deciding what the chords are. We need to know them. We know we're in the key of G. Can you go through all of the chords in G major and see what they are? That's a what kind of chord?
Major.
Good. And 1 chord tonic is major. 2 chord is?
Minor.
Good. 3 chord is? Whoops. Is?
Minor.
Good. 4 chord is?
Major.
Good. Dominant is?
Major.
Yeah. Then comes submedian. That's minor. Diminished. When I play chords, I try to be musical too. I try to be musical. I try to go. I really try to. Right.
Okay, give me another chance.
Watch. Have fun.
Okay.
And from below. And 135 for all of them. It's just 135. Where's 135? Yeah, that's all. Three chords, a beautiful chord, minor chord. Minor, two chord. Okay, you want to get a sense of, of that. Because this is going to have a lot of chords that are going to come right out of the scale, but they're not going to be in root position. The reason we decided that he does not use root positions most of the time is it's governed by the melodic note on top, which shifts the chord around below it, right? So that's why he has inversions. Plus he has nice voice leading that's between these chords for the most part. You can see lots of neighbor motion, which is a nice part of learning this, right? These are, two chord goes to the one, right? One chord, and then you can feel your way to the one with a plus, which is augmented, but then this is neighbor to this, right? And this is an inversion of the same chord, and this is really going to the two, which is not far from the four. They share two of the same notes, you know that? And then this is the surprise. We discovered that this dominant, we will expect this. Instead, he took the tonic and he raised the G to G sharp and created a diminished, which then embellishes or leads to the two chord very nicely. Right? I had told you that on every degree of the scale, every chord you build, you could build a diminished below it that embellishes it. Right? Right? We discussed that. Romantic era, the harmonies, they were a little bit more adventurous, and they'd use these little sneaky half steps to get to other notes and create a kind of very emotional response in the music. It was very, to do the unexpected creates an emotional response. So that's important. Now you were also plotting out, once you had the fingering for the shaping of the structural notes, the melody, you're starting to learn about the harmony that's under those notes, and also what you want to draw out more. So let's try that now, given that we're starting to learn what they are. So the first chord is the G chord, is the this one. Go very slowly. Bring out the B on top. And now that goes to neighbor chord. But that's a 2 chord. He wants a 4 chord. What kind of sound do you want to make? Then? That's a 4 chord, right? A form of the 4? That's a 4/6. First inversion. Then he goes to, we decided, the 2 chord. Bring out the E on top. E, resolve down to the 1 chord. Right, so let's see if we could shape that down. Lead. Good. Now he's going higher to a tonic, but it's once more. Now make sure you're doing a tonic. I want to hear that G. Now this is a surprise because he's going to a augmented chord on G. Yeah, and that has some tension in it. That wants to release into less. Right, that was good. Less. Yeah, don't use such a stiff wrist. Good job. Now he's coming down an inversion in that same chord. But listen for the melody. I don't hear enough C. C. But that's too much. Okay, bring out the C. And then comes the next melodic tone is. That's a 2 chord though.
Oh, wait a minute.
He's going from a 4 chord. Yeah, but I don't hear the C. C. And then the next chord is a minor chord, but it's in bigger. Yeah, make it pretty. Right, pretty. Come from below. Always breathe into your chords. Okay, he has that twice, so we decided the second one could be softer. The same chord, because we don't want to hear ah. You want ta, do. Good. Now this is a dominant 7 of G major, primary dominant. Yeah, but how are you going to voice that? What does voicing mean? Voicing means what am I bringing out?
Emphasizing.
Well, it doesn't mean emphasizing. It means how am I balancing my voices? I am balancing toward what? It's a little bit pokey though. How are you going to avoid the poke? Yeah, come from below. Well, listen to the difference. Right, there you go. That's a much different sound. Okay, now this. Now this is the one that's the surprise, but you won't know it's a surprise because I have the surprise on the G sharp. Okay? Yeah, good fingering. 5, 2, 1. And then resolve it to A minor. Come down to A minor. Step down. Every voice is stepping down. Right. The good news about this is every voice step down. See that? Did it?
Yes.
Now I would lean on lean. Okay, I'm going to fill in the harmony there. Go ahead, do it again. Lean. Oh, made it pretty. Lean. It needs to be less. It's coming too fast. Lean. Now what? This is a tricky one. We haven't done this one. This one is an E, an A, and a G. An E, an A, and a G. Wait, don't play till you have the notes. E, an A, and a G. An E, an A, and a G. Go ahead. That's right. Go ahead. He wanted this. And then he wanted, this is the easier one because it's pure augmented on the dominant, right? The dominant becomes, right. Yeah. Now we extend it. He's extending or delaying the cadence. Where does he finally make the cadence? Here. He just delayed it. He delayed the cadence. He could have gone here tonic, right? But no, he says, no, I want to get back to the beginning and repeat it. Right, so that's basically what's going on. I'm not going to overanalyze these kind of things because that can be very cluttering. But the basic chords are pretty much dominant, tonic, subdominant, and then some augmented and one diminished. The diminished is a very common chord. As I say, you can embellish any chord with a half step below it and create a diminished chord under it, right? Does that make sense? I mean, just taking C, right? That's not a big deal. But I think your work for this week should be, after you do the single notes, you need to know where you're going. Finally,